Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go over everything you need to know for the first season of War Within gearing. I know there's a lot of people that actually play the game. They're still confused. We got new people coming to the game. What the heck do we need to do when the season starts? You want to know? This video is for you. I have my trusty notes all written down of all the things I want to cover. I'm right here. I'm going to show you guys where all the vendors are, all the action is. Guys, don't know where I am currently, just to give you some reference. We are in Donegal, okay? And we're down here by the southeastern bridge. This is the PvP area. This is all you need to know for PvP. Okay, so at this point, hopefully you have your character leveled up and you have your honor gear, like I do, okay? That's the only thing that's really been available to us, as well as we've been farming these goofy things, these Forged Combatants heraldries, and these are for crafted gear, and we're gonna get better ones of these, a blue version when the season starts, and a purple version as well. Okay, so first things you're gonna want to do when you log on is grab the quests. There's likely gonna be some PvP quests here. This is just gonna allow you to go and do some world PvP stuff, collect some sparks, and we're gonna use those sparks for some things later. But yeah, make sure you always grab these PvP quests because you're going to want the honor. The honor is super relevant for sockets. You also get quicker conquest that way. Now, as you log on, one of the first things I think you're going to want to do is actually grab the world PvP quests. I don't know exactly where they're going to be, but there will be world PvP quests somewhere in this area. So yeah, grab all the world PvP quests you can. And a big thing that's going to happen when the season starts as well is all of these world PvP quests are going to become a lot more relevant, and they're going to award things called bloody tokens. And with the bloody tokens, okay, you're going to be able to buy war mode gear, war mode or world PvP gear, whatever you want to call it. And this gear is just slightly worse than conquest gear. Okay, so that's the first thing. We're going to have the world PvP gear unlocked. And all you really need to know for that, super simple, is that you're going to grab the world PvP quests, this spark one right here, and it'll likely give you a bunch of bloody tokens, as well as when you're just looking around the map, those chests that fly around, you know, the chest, the little helicopter drops them off, those are going to award the bloody tokens, etc., etc. There's not that much more information released from that. We're just going to get bloody tokens. You're going to be able to spend that bloody token on gear, which is just slightly worse than conquest. This isn't something you necessarily have to do, but if you want to be ahead of the curve for maybe your main character, that's something you can do. Now, so that's kind of the weekly PvP / world PvP quests section. The next thing that's going to happen is we are going to be getting conquest unlocked. So as you know, we have been earning honor and spending that honor on honor gear, right? We've been going over to the honor vendor, buying our honor gear, getting all the good stuff. Now we're going to have conquest unlocked, okay? So once you start earning conquest, you're going to get a quest, I do believe. It's basically gonna be a quest for you to come talk to someone in this area, and that's gonna allow you to get your weapons started, okay? You're gonna get a quest where you basically get free weapons. So you do not wanna buy weapons anymore. You could potentially buy one if you want with your war mode gear. Like if you wanna get a one-hander or save for a staff, you could. I don't really recommend doing that anymore, just because you're gonna get free weapons after 3 weeks of casting, okay? Or capping. So that's one thing that's gonna happen. You're gonna get your weapons sorted after 3 weeks of capping. It's one of the things that they've done since we no longer have our vault for PvP. Everybody gets a weapon after 3 weeks. So that's a quest that you're gonna get. You're gonna slowly unlock and earn your conquest, and you can buy whatever gear you want with that. I recommend buying, if your set bonus is good, I recommend buying at least one piece of gear that you can convert in the catalyst. At least one piece of gear that you can convert in the catalyst. That way you can get your first set piece. Your second set piece is going to come from something called the Mark of Mastery. Okay? So, while you're PvPing, once you get to 1600, if you are so lucky to get 1600 in a bracket, maybe you won't, maybe you do. Whenever you do hit 1600, you're going to get a little token. And that little token is going to allow you, I don't know exactly where the vendor is, so when the season goes live, you guys can come ask me. But yeah, you're going to get a token, and hopefully that quest will just tell you where to go. But the token just allows you to buy a free piece of tier for PvP, or just a free piece of gear. So you can get free tier or just a free piece of gear. And that's very useful. And you're more than likely just going to want to spend it on an expensive piece. So buying like a chest, the legs, the helmet. It could be an Ashkahet. Yeah, so I think it might be an Ashkahet for the free tier. But that is something you get at 1600. So if you're wondering, how do I get my 2 set week 1? The first thing you're going to do is buy or craft a piece. Just buy a piece of conquest gear. And then you're going to be able to convert it at the catalyst converter. Okay. We're going to get charges of that as it goes on. The second way people are going to get tier is by getting 1600, and that's how they're going to get their 2 set the first day. Okay? And we need to find where the catalyst is. I don't know exactly where it is, so stay tuned for where the catalyst is, and stay tuned for where you actually bring in the Mark of Mastery. But just keep in mind, that's how people are going to be getting their 2 set. The other thing, so we've covered Conquest gear, you know what I mean? Conquest gear is earned just through rated content. It's the same as Honor. You're just going to be able to go to the Conquest vendor and just buy whatever you want. But like I said, I do think you should prioritize at least one main one piece, like the helmet, the shoulders, the chest, the gloves, the pants, so you can turn it into a tier set. And the other thing that I would recommend you do is you get 1600 when you can for your 2 set. Okay, so that's what you can do. Remember, we're going to get the free weapons, so you don't want to buy a weapon. There's also a quest for free conquest heraldry. So these things you can see here. There's going to be a quest for these week 1 as well. Okay, so you're going to log on. You're going to do some sort of rated activity, and once you do that rated activity, you're going to get a box. Okay, you're going to get a Glorious Contender Strong box, and that box will have a little item in it that will give you a quest to get free Forge Gladiators heraldries. So you can actually, I'm pretty sure you can craft free gear week number 1 as well. So we're going to just be rolling in gear at the beginning of this. But yeah, you're going to get your free combat heraldries, and then you can craft gear with these. We're going to go over PvP crafting a little bit more, but basically all you need for that is these, and then a few extra ingredients that are relatively inexpensive. But these are the most important pieces for that, okay? For crafting this stuff. So we went over the Conquest heraldries, we went over the Mark of Mastery, we went over the Catalyst. Now we can go over like actually crafting PvP gear, because this is something that confuses a lot of people. How the heck do I craft gear? Okay? How the heck do I craft gear? And I know this might seem a lot. I promise you guys, it's really not as bad as you think. Okay, so crafting gear, where you're gonna go is here. Okay, let's zoom in on the map, zoom in on the map, zoom in on the map. This is where you're gonna go when you wanna actually craft some gear. This music's annoying me, so I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so this is where you're gonna go when you wanna craft some gear. And all you're going to do is, let's say I wanna make a ring. Okay, so I'm gonna search for a ring. I'll go armor, I'll go miscellaneous, I'll go finger. Okay, I wanna make something. The thing we are interested in as PvPers, okay, and this is kind of new to this expansion, we want the Algari gear. Okay, the Algari gear is how we are going to make lit stuff. Okay, so let's say that I want to make this ring. You're going to have a few different options. Okay, so the first option you have to when you want to craft this ring is you're going to have to either get the green heraldry, the blue heraldry, or the purple one. Now you're likely just going to want to have the purple one so you can craft the highest level stuff. Obviously we don't have that yet, but it will be unlocked tomorrow. Okay, now something very convenient to do when you are looking to craft gear, okay, is just hit track recipe. All you have to do is hit this little button. This is what I do. You just hit track recipe, and you're going to see all the ingredients that you need from the auction house. Okay, 2 other things you want to think about besides just needing the Vicious Bloodstone, needing the Null Stone, and needing the Marbled Stone, is you're going to be able to add an embellishment to select pieces. So you're only going to do a few embellishments in the whole season. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure what embellishments you want to use just yet. I'm really not. So it seems to me that the embellishments are not as good as they were. Because things like precog are now a gem. You don't actually embellish that. So I think the embellishments are just way worse than before. Things like precog are going to be put into your gear with a gem. I could show those as well. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what embellishments you want to use, but you'll be able to make them eventually, so don't worry too much about that. The other thing you want to consider is these missives. Now, these missives allow you to put any secondary stats you want. So for me, I'm going to want haste versatility. And for crafting PvP gear, one thing that's interesting is you actually don't care about quality at all. If you get all garbage bronze quality, it's going to be the same as if you get all golden expensive quality. So just buy whatever the cheapest is. Like if I want to make a haste versatility ring, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy this missive. Okay, so now I'll just go over to the auction house. I got my recipe. I know exactly what missive I want. I'm just going to go over to the auction house. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, we're going to go here. Pretty sure you can actually open up. No, you can't. I think there's a way to open that up. But anyways, you see your shopping list. Okay, I need a vicious bloodstone. Vicious bloodstone. Great, I'll buy one of those. Okay, I need a null stone. Great, I'm going to buy one of those. Okay, I need marbled stone times 40. Okay, great. I'm going to buy 40 of those. Okay, cool. Got that. I got my heraldries. I bought my missive too. Let's buy that. Just we'll fully simulate the experience. Yeah, I got my missive. Oh, cool. Here we go. This is the missive I like. This one, let's see, it has versatility haste, poggers in the hole. I'm going to buy that one. So let's go get my ingredients. Okay, we got all the ingredients from the auction house. Great, loving it. Now we're going to go down here. We're going to make our crafting order, okay? So it's going to come down here. We're going to go to armor. We're going to go to miscellaneous. Now we've got everything we need for this beautiful ring, all right? We're going to put in our heraldries. We're going to have the vicious stone, the null stone, the marbled stone. I'm going to select if I want an embellishment. I'm going to select if I want to put in my missive. I'm going to say, thank you for crafting, you know, and I'm going to leave a little tip. You know, if you're cheapy, maybe you leave like 1,000 gold tip. If you're a baller, maybe 10,000 gold. It just depends. Do whatever you want. But I will say the more you tip, the faster your jewelry is going to be made. But also, the thing is, like, people are going to want to craft this stuff for skill ups anyways, so you don't really have to tip that much. Okay, you can if you want. You don't have to. Okay. Great. 1,000 gold is cheapy. Yeah, 1,000 gold is a cheap tip. That's cheap. I'm just being real. Okay, so that is embellishments and crafting gear, okay? Can't make it more straightforward than that one. And like we already talked about the world PvP / bloody token gear. I just want to reiterate something really quickly. The bloody token gear and the world PvP gear is good. If you're focusing on one character or you want one character to be very strong, I highly recommend you actually do the world PvP stuff, because you'll be able to get like some really solid pieces, you know? Maybe you'll get some boots that you want, or like some gloves that you want, or some braces, whatever it is. It's just going to be higher level, closer to conquest. On all of your alts, I wouldn't stress about it. Maybe if you have 1 or 2 characters, you do it on both, but if you're someone who's playing 3, 4, 5 characters, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm really not. I don't really care. So I'm just going to be getting my conquest, and that should be good enough for me. Remember how we talked about gems? So we talked about how the embellishments aren't as good. We're talking about sockets. Okay, here we need to talk about sockets too. So sockets, at least one socket is important. Okay, what you want to do is get a piece of gear in the first week that you can socket. Okay, whether that's a ring, whether that's a belt, whether that's a neck, whether that's a head. Typically, you don't want it to be jewelry. It can be jewelry, but you want gear. You want conquest gear that has main stats. Okay, so the way you get sockets, there's world PvP events to get sockets. The other way you get sockets is just naturally getting them through playing the game and getting honor. Okay, so like I said, we're going to have these weekly PvP quests. Those are going to give a lot of honor. You're going to be spamming, your rated Battleground Blitz. You're going to be spamming, your rated Arena. And you're going to be getting a lot of honor in the process. Now, what you're going to do with that honor is buy these, okay? These Vicious Jeweler's settings. These require 2 Vicious Bloodstones and about 10,000 honor. Now, you can just buy these bloodstones for honor, so it's basically a full honor cap. Or if you want to cut some corners, save some honor, get it faster, you can just buy these from other players. So these Vicious Bloodstones are something you can buy on the auction house, and that way you only have to spend 9,750 on her because you bought the 2 Vicious Bloodstones. And like I said, I genuinely think at the beginning you only need to worry about having 1 socket. 1 socket actually is important. Having full sockets, not so important, and you will acquire your full sockets throughout the season. But yeah, you definitely want at least 1 socket because of these Bloodstones. So you can get these the same way you get crafted gear, or you can just straight up buy them on the auction house. So you're gonna have 2 options, right? Like, let me say, for example, let's say that I want to get the precog one for a caster. I want to get this Cognitive Bloodstone. I can literally just go to the auction house and just buy one that somebody had already made. Okay, so let's say Cognitive Bloodstone. Boom, 10,000 gold. I got my socket. We're gonna socket my gear. Or if you want, you can go down here, same way we did before, and you can get someone to craft it for you. Okay, so you can find someone in trade, or you can just, yeah, I want to make the Cognitive Bloodstone. You can see all the ingredients for it, and you can get someone to make it for you, get it crafted. Probably going to be a little bit cheaper this way, but totally up to you how you want to do it. And like I said, you only really have to worry about that one. The Bloodstone gems are important. You want 1 socket in the first week if you can get it. And you want to get 1. I would only spend it on conquest gear. I would not waste your sockets on non-conquest gear. Pointless. Okay, and also one more thing we didn't talk about is enchants. Okay, so we talked about sockets. We talked about enchants. My plan for enchants, I'm actually going to enchant my gear if it's cheap enough. So, like, let's look at some finger enchants. I don't know what the cost of these things is yet, but like a Radiant Haste. These are 15,000 gold, okay? So these are ridiculously expensive. It gives you 315 haste. I plan on just using, I think, one of the lower ones. So I might use some of the lower ones. Maybe I'll invest in the big ones. I might even, to be honest with you, use like the bronze ones. We'll have to wait and see. Whatever makes sense for you financially, but I highly recommend you aren't putting the best enchants on just your honor gear unless you're true sweaty. If you're really sweaty and you're making a lot of gold through professions and stuff like that, I mean, frick it, let's just go for it. But yeah, some of these enchants are quite expensive, and I don't recommend putting them on gear unless you really want to go for it the first week and you want every little advantage possible. You can get enchants for a lot of the pieces of gear, and you can just go through them if you want and see. So a good way to look at enchants, when this is what I do, go to the auction house, go to item enchants, and just look through them. Right? What can we get? Okay, cool, nothing. What can we get for the cloak? Okay, great. Get that. What can we get for the legs? We're gonna get that. I'm not gonna go over everyone's individual enchants, but you can get enchants on the auction house quite easily. And yeah, so recap once again. Just a quick little recap of what we covered in today's video. Yeah, and I even showed you guys exactly how to do it. I went to the location. If you guys have more questions for me, feel free to come to my stream. We're gonna put this on YouTube. So the only 2 things that we have to figure out is where do we turn in our Mark of Mastery, and where is the catalyst? Okay, how do we convert a piece of gear into tier with the catalyst? Where is that? The other one is where do we turn in our Mark of Mastery? But you know about it. Where do I get precog? You failed the test, Coop. I'm not gonna lie, dude. We went over where you get precog many times, but I'll go over it once again. The way you get precog is through a gem called the Cognitive Bloodstone. So you need 1 socket, and then you're going to just buy this gem, and you have precog. Okay? So you only really need to worry about getting 1 socket on your characters. Other than that, you're just kind of chilling. So this is what we went over today. We went over the weekly PvP quest. We went over conquest gear. We went over the quest for free weapons at 2,500 conquest. So for about 3 weeks of capping. We went over the quest for the free conquest heraldry, so you can get some free crafted gear. We went over the Marks of Mastery at 1,600. That's your free tier. We went over the catalyst. We went over embellishments, and what else did we do? We went over sockets, embellishments. We went over little enchants. We went over the world PvP and bloody token gear. And then yeah, so this is kind of what's going on. At week 1, you're going to get your 2 set. You should aim for that. Week 3, you get your free weapon set. And week 5, you should have your 4 set. Okay? Cool. Hopefully this answered a lot of the questions you guys have. And like I said, if you guys have more questions or you need me to clarify something, feel free to ask, but it should all be fairly self-explanatory with the help of this video. One more thing. This is a tip that I just got that I feel like is worth it. A little bonus if you guys stuck around and subscribed to the channel. All right, if you go filter and you hit current expansion only, it'll only show you relevant enchants. Make it much cleaner, much better, much cleaner. That's what you want to do. Current expansion only. Boom. All right, that way you don't have to mess around with old stuff.